How are y'all? Good. Um, First of all, thought our guys played extremely hard. Um, Played with great effort. Did a lot of really good things within the game. Got things obviously we got to clean up. We hurt ourselves with some critical errors, but you know the the amount of effort that they're playing with, how relentless they're running around. Um, Really proud of that part of it. Want to thank our fans for coming out for homecoming. Had a great crowd. They were really behind the guys. I thought they did a great job of being involved in the game, so we really appreciate that part of it. Obviously, this week got a really tough opponent. Uh, Georgia Tech's playing really well right now, uh, balanced in what they're doing, playing really sound defensively, giving you a lot of different looks. You look at them offensively. Haynes has been there, seems like forever now, playing extremely well. Recruited him out of high school. Just remember him, known his dad for a long time. So they got a good football team. They're playing well right now. They've had a bye, so obviously they're going to be fresh, and so it'll be a great test for us. But we're looking forward to going on the road and getting up our opportunities to step on the field and go to work.
You talked afterwards about how a lot of the penalties were sort of passion or effort plays. How do you walk that line or teach that line between passion and being
Yeah,
smart?
yeah, it's tough. We only had 6 penalties. Those penalties came at costly times, right? And so, you know, when you're pushing the envelope and these guys are playing with relentless effort, we just got to make smarter decisions in certain situations. And so, um, we've talked about that. We're addressing it. Obviously, uh, guys have been really receptive. They've played extremely hard, and we've got to continue that part of it. But we just got to be smarter in those situations, especially when we get an opportunity. We got to stop. We can get off the field. Had a couple of those, and then obviously down there in the low red, we're sitting down inside the one. You can't have that happen. So we'll learn from those things, and we got to continue to grow and improve.
In your review of the film, and looking back at any of those penalties, you feel differently about them now, and specifically the illegal formation on the special teams one. I don't know how tightly they call that. Did that look like a penalty in your estimation afterwards?
Um, I don't want to get fined, right? So, as you're leading me down this track, um, that doesn't get called very often, and most of the time it's like, you step up and you kind of move the guys kind of back out of the way, kind of alert them that, hey, you're getting close to that line. So, some of those things, it's part of the game. I'm not saying he made the incorrect call. You just don't see it called that often, and most of the time it's in a situation where, hey, you got to give him a little bit more space. You're talking about 2 or 3 inches here or there, basically. And so if you're not careful, you can get into that as you're trying to get a line. So we'll be smarter about that part and make sure we're in good shape.
Phil, when you are talking about the effort, and how do you reiterate to the guys about slowing down the game and making sure, hey, I'm being relentless, I'm playing with effort, I'm going 100 miles an hour at the ball, but at the same time realizing situation, like letting up on the quarterback when you see the ball released, or not putting your hands on someone when they're going out of bounds? Is there a way that you can teach that?
Yeah, I think, and again, it's all about the presentation of it. The way our guys right now, especially, in all 3 phases, just the way they're competing, the way they're running, the way they are helping each other, and the way we're gang tackling and doing all of those things are absolutely 100% great things. Um, Now you got to make sure that we're being smart in those situations and understanding what the situation is, where you're at, what's happening, what's the flow of the game. Um, and those guys are going to continue to improve in those areas and get better. And our coaches, I think, are doing a good job of trying to correct some of those mistakes that we all make, but you can't make them at those critical times.
The group's faced, once you took over 2 wins, what would how did you sense the team's response after facing adversity for the first time with you as the leader?
This team's faced a lot of adversity throughout the season, and so I think they're resilient. Guys were disappointed Sunday coming in because we knew we had an opportunity right there and needed to take advantage of it. But that being said, um, I thought they bounced back. They did some good things on Sunday as far as what we asked them to do from a workload standpoint. Guys were around for meetings and really attentive and ready to move on to the next one. We got a 24-hour rule about what we're doing, win or lose. And so, like I told them on Sunday, hey, you got the day to kind of be in your feelings about it, but then we got to put it back away and we got to move forward and continue to grow and learn from our mistakes and get better as a football team because we got a tough game this week.
Coach, Georgia Tech is unique offensively with how much they run the quarterback. He's the leading rusher on the team. How do you prepare for that kind of offense?
Yeah, I mean, you try to give it as much of a look as you can give in practice. I think they do a great job. They're so heavy into a lot of different gap schemes and the way they present it, formationally, motion. Haynes handles all of that really well. Plus, to your point, they run him a lot. And so we got to do a good job of getting our eyes in the right spots. You got to play really disciplined, sound football on defense. And then when you get an opportunity to get him down, you got to get them behind the sticks. You got to force them into situations that they're not comfortable in because that's what they kind of live on. They maintain drives. They stay in short yardage type situations. You get down in the red zone, they're always trying to find +1 runs. And so we've got to do a good job of being really, really sound and technical defensively, and then don't let them get out of your reach when it comes from the tackle standpoint.
Terrian looked like he had a wrap on his shoulder, didn't play much, if at all, down the stretch. How's he doing right now, looking at this week?
Yeah, just like always. I mean, we'll learn more today when we get on the practice field with him. I thought he reacted well Sunday and Monday, but you never know until you get back on the field. So right now I feel good about where he's at, but I'll learn more today.
111 yards, passing yards last week. I think was a season low there. What needs to be done to get more out of the passing game right now?
Well, I think it's probably a factor of all of us, right? We got to do a better job protecting. We got to do a better job delivering the football on time. We got to do a better job from a route standpoint. I got to do a better job schematically of getting guys opportunities. I thought we did a better job in the second half, and we found some explosive plays in there with them. To that point, we're seeing a lot of different looks. If you look at it early in the game, we got several different looks that they hadn't shown on tape at that point. So it's getting back to the sideline, making adjustments, and being able to transition from that standpoint. So I think it's a growing process for us, and we're continuing to learn. But I think those guys are bought in, and they are given really, really strong effort in areas, and we're always trying to improve each and every day. And I think that starts from the coaching staff working our way out.
With your O-line situation, you just kind of expect everybody to bring the house at this point. I mean, you kind of referenced it in the post game the other day.
That's the trend right now. So we've had to shuffle a lot of different guys up front. Had to do it again the other night, and trying to find a more manageable consistency to it all. And so we'll see how that plays itself out this week in practice. And, again, we're going to try to get our best 5 guys on the field and give them an opportunity to be successful, and maybe we can help them in some different ways.
Phil, you mentioned you recruited Haynes King when I believe you were at Tulsa. A lot of good prospects come out of Longview, Texas.
Yeah, they've had some good ones. I will say they've had some good quarterbacks. Haynes is probably, I'd venture to say, now I can't go back that far from the history standpoint. He's probably maybe the most prolific quarterback that's come out of there. There's been a lot of good linemen, a lot of good linebackers, running backs. Believe it or not, his dad is a huge run the power lineup and let's see if you can stop it type of guy. Now, he changed a little bit. Haynes gave him the ability to throw it around the yard a little bit more, and but they've always been really good. And you're talking about East Texas right there, tremendous athletes running through, and they've had a good run of them.
Have you stayed in touch with the family since you said you knew his father?
No, not. I mean, I haven't been back through there and recruiting in a while. My recruitment of Haynes didn't last very long because he blew up pretty quick. So he got a lot of offers, and mine kind of fell kind of over there to the side. So, which is fine. I mean, that's the way recruiting goes. But yeah, always rooted for him. Was very impressed with what he did coming out of high school.
You have one freshman, JoJo Krim, who's reached the 4-game Mark, so far. Have you had talks with him and some of these other freshmen saying, we're probably not going to redshirt you this year because we need you and you guys are playing well?
Well, we got a lot of freshmen playing right now, and obviously those conversations are going on. But that being said, those guys have stepped up, played really big. You look at the amount of freshmen that we are playing right now, and those guys have contributed in a really positive way for us, and we've got to continue that trend. So, from a depth standpoint, they all know where we're at, and those guys are taking advantage of the opportunity to step on the field and really show people what they can do. And they've been a great benefit for us as a football team, and those guys are playing extremely well.
Other questions for Coach?
Do you feel like with the way Noah Chambers is playing that he's going to continue to see more and more snaps there?
Yeah, I mean, I think Noah had 40-something snaps the other day. He's played extremely well. With our depth and everything else, I think it plays into that way. But that being said, every time he steps on the field, he's learning, he's growing, he's playing with a lot of confidence. Is he making some mistakes? Yeah, probably. But that being said, the effort and the attitude that he's playing with and the amount that he's learning right now is far and exceeds any of the other parts of it. So he's played extremely well.
You mentioned after the NC State game sort of his motor, his effort, like full speed ahead all the time. What other parts of his game impress you?
Talking about Noah's?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think he's just been a sponge so far. Like, he is growing and learning every day, and you just see him taking great strides in his improvement, just learning how to play the position at this level, right? He's got all the tenacity that you want. He flies around, throws his body around, makes tackles in space. He does all of those things pretty naturally. Now it's, to your point, how do you play within the structure of the defense and still continue to generate the things that make you who you are? And I think that's what he's learning right now.
In the same breath, Sheldon Robinson's played the last 3 games, has played some meaningful snaps at safety. As a true freshman, it seems like safety is one of the tougher spots to play. What have you seen at how he's been able to pick it up and be able to play some significant snaps, especially in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, I think he kind of falls into that same line with Noah. I mean, he's learning each and every time he steps on the field. He has played a lot of significant snaps for us and will continue to do that. And has played extremely well. And so when you get back there in the back end, you got to be a little bit more careful. You can get exposed a little bit more, but he's been really disciplined. He's had his eyes in the right spot. He's come downhill and made really good tackles, done a good job into coverage. So he's growing each and every day.
You mentioned Saturday, Tomas Remax started at 4 of the 5 offensive line spots.
Mm-hmm.
You ever had an offensive lineman do that in one season, much less half a season? And what has his versatility meant to your group through 6 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, you can't put a number on what he's done, and just the unselfishness. You're thinking about an older guy that's played a lot of games, and to be able to move around and do the things that we're asking him to do and never question it. He wants to do what's best for the team. However I can help. He's been a great leader for us. Tomas is not a guy that does a lot of talking on the side. He just comes to work every day, puts his hard hat on, punches the clock, and gets back after it. So I've got a lot of tremendous respect for him and what he's done. As far as your first part of that question, I don't know that I've ever had anybody, especially at this point in the season, play as many different spots throughout as Tomas has. So he's pretty rare in that spot.
Going off of that, every time we ask these linemen, is it easy to switch spots? They always kind of, it's no big deal. You just kind of flip over and you change your mindset of where you're playing. Are they underselling how difficult it is to play?
Yes, they are underselling it. I mean,
How hard is it?
they're saying it with confidence, but yes, they're underselling it. It's not as easy. You got to think about all the different verbiages and how things move. And on this side, it means I do this. On this side, it may mean the opposite of that. And then just in your stance and the way you set and, when you're working inside footwork, outside footwork, hand placement, what hand shooting, all of those things, it's much more difficult to do than what they're saying. So, I give them credit for saying, it's no big deal. But if we're being real honest, they they've adjusted well. We've asked them to do that. We try to do a lot of that in the spring, just moving guys around with the mindset of just trying to make sure that you can build depth. And the spring's a good time to kind of, exercise some of that. But for Tomas, he's done unbelievable at being able to move around and be that guy. But it's not as easy as they make it sound.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thank y'all. Y'all have